I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of Andrewsfootball.com. Welcome to my breakdown of the Los Angeles Rams. If you're new to my channel, there's this button right down here. See it? Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. My channel, scientifically proven to make all your wildest dreams come true. Now, here's how my breakdown videos work. First, I break down what I like. Then I break down what I don't like, but stick around to the very end where I break down the Vegas over-under and if you should put action down on the Los Angeles Rams. Now let's break down what I like. First thing I like is the Sean McVay offense. I mean, here's the thing. In 2016, they had the worst offense in the National Football League. They're ranked number 32. Sean McVay's first season, they're ranked number 1. He literally took the offense from worst to first. Then the next year, they were second. But in 2017, they were scoring 29.9 points a game. 2018, 32.9. The only reason they're ranked second is because, well, as a Chiefs fan, and if you're a Chiefs fan watching this, you know the answer. But bottom line, their offense got 3 points better last year than it was when they were the highest scoring offense in the National Football League. So kudos to Sean McVay, who looks currently like an offensive genius and mastermind. Second thing I like about the Los Angeles Rams is when you look at their offensive skill position talent, it's all extremely young. Goff's going to be 25. Gurley's 25. Cooks is 26. Kupp's 26. Woods is 27. Your offensive skill position talent hasn't even peaked yet. The only player I could argue that has peaked is Gurley. But the thing is, if Gurley can put up better numbers, if he can stay healthy, let me go over this real fast. In 2017, he had 279 carries, 64 receptions. That's 346 touches. In 2018, 256 carries, 59 receptions. That's 315 touches. It's basically just 20 touches a game. Could he average more? Absolutely. If Gurley can stay healthy, there's nothing saying that he can't put up better numbers. The only question is, can he stay healthy? But the touches, even though he's first-team All-Pro the last 2 years, he actually could have more touches per game. I've seen running backs that do more, but when healthy, is he the best running back in football? That's argued. You can argue that, but you can't argue that he's a top 5 running back when healthy. I mean, and then has he peaked? Well, he's only 25. So I can argue that his best days are yet to come, but as a running back, they have a smaller window than the other players. But bottom line, you got a quarterback and your 3 wide receivers are all 27 and younger. And Goff, who I mean, this is a guy whose ceiling's very high. So keep in mind, this is a very young talent. The last thing I like about the Rams, now there's a lot of things I like about the Rams, but the 3 big points I'm going to talk about, the third is Aaron Donald. I mean, if you watch the NFL Network like I do, you know they have a list of top 100 or the players vote on who's the best player is in the NFL or top 100 players, and Aaron Donald, of course, was number 1 after 20 and a half sacks. It's actually funny, when Sean McVay took over and he brought over, brain freeze, I'm sorry, Wade Phillips. We brought Wade Phillips over from Denver. Wade Phillips is probably more responsible than anybody for the Denver Broncos winning that Super Bowl because he was the defensive coordinator. They held MVP Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers to 10 points. So when he was coming over, he was going to bring the 3-4 defense. And I'm thinking, well, they got to get rid of Aaron Donald. He isn't fitting that defense. Wrong. So he ends up making Aaron Donald the best player in football. And what a fantastic job he's done. But Aaron Donald is on the verge of being an NFL Hall of Famer. I say verge because he's been a first-team All-Pro for the last 4 years. 20 and a half sacks last year. That might have been enough to put him in the Hall. But eventually, Aaron Donald, whenever he retires, is going to walk into Canton, probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is just doing an amazing job. I can sit here and talk the next hour about how much I love Aaron Donald. I loved him coming out of Pittsburgh. I love his game. I love his intensity. If you watch the Amazon special about the Rams and how they ended up, the transition and the whole 9 yards, it talks about Aaron Donald, how he comes in the film study early, watches film on his own, does some extra practice reps, does just an awesome player. I could sit here and I ramble on about how much I love Aaron Donald, but unless you've been living under a rock, you know he was the best defensive player in football last year. It's actually the best player in football. Chiefs fans, it's kind of like this. Mahomes deserved MVP, Aaron Donald's the best player. Or if you want to make it like this, Mahomes is the best offensive player, Aaron Donald's the best defensive player. However you want to look at it. For me, Mahomes MVP, Aaron Donald best player. Hopefully that's not confusing. So basically to recap, the three things I really like about the Los Angeles Rams. Number one, Sean McVay. I mean, he just looks like a super offensive mastermind genius so far. I mean, took the worst offense in the National Football League, made them the best. He just went bibbity boppity boo, bam, and boom, best offense in football. And they even got better last year. You have youth on the skill position, and now I'm putting Gurley because he's 25. But you have Goff who's 25, Cooks who's 26, Kupp's 26, Woods 27. These guys' best days are still yet to come. Gurley's could be too. Maybe we haven't seen the best of Todd Gurley. And then you also have Aaron Donald, who was the best player in the National Football League last year, who's going to be, when he retires, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no question about it in my mind. So now, what don't I like about the Los Angeles Rams? First thing I don't like is the offensive line situation. Now, Andrew Whitworth is quietly building a Hall of Fame career, but he will be 38 in December, and as you know, Father Time is undefeated. Even though he is one of the best left tackles in football, you're going to be 38, and that's a tough position to play. There was even some talk that he may retire this year. He is coming back. He is going to play, and he's going to be a good left tackle. Is he going to be a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle like he's been? It's hard to say. But here's another thing. Yeah, Safford, he's gone in free agency. And now Sullivan, his play kind of regressed last year. But bottom line, ESPN and our lads have Brian Allen and Joseph Noteboom, the third and fourth round picks in the 2018 draft, taking over. Here's another thing. Pro Football Reference as this offensive line starting all 16 games together. Do you know how rare it is to have all 5 players of an offensive line start all 16 games? It's practically unheard of. You know a Giants fan? Talk to him about how possible that is. I know as a Chiefs fan, we had to deal with multiple injuries around our interior. Our tackles played all 16 games. The other interior 3 didn't. But bottom line, to say that your offensive line started all 16 games, all 5 players, that's practically unheard of. I can almost guarantee you that's not going to happen again this year. But here's the thing. Your best offensive lineman turns 38 in December. You got 2 brand new second-year players starting on that offensive line. Plus, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. These guys are not going to be able to play. It's extremely rare that happens. So be prepared that the offensive line situation in Los Angeles is not going to be as good as it was last year. Second thing I don't like is you lose Ndamukong Suh. Now, here's the thing. Aaron Donald wins on quickness. Ndamukong Suh's a power guy. It's kind of a situation like 1 + 1 = 3. Now the Rams knew they were getting a 1-year rental, but it's no coincidence that Aaron Donald's sack total went from 11 to 20 with Suh, because you got to double team Suh. He's a wrecking ball on his own. I think Suh's a Hall of Fame caliber player, but there's a lot of things about Suh that players and coaches have complained about in the past. I don't want go too much into that. Let's kind of ignore that. But bottom line, I think Suh is the second best player on that defense. You lose Suh, you're not really replacing him. I mean, yeah, Fowler, you got him in a trade, and he's going to be here all season, and he's going to help. And so far he's looked good in preseason. But bottom line, you're losing a guy who could be a Hall of Famer in Ndamukong Suh. Plus, you got a guy who's right next to you that alleviates the double team. Bottom line, every NFL team knows, hey, we're going to double team Aaron Donald. You couldn't do that last year. So losing Sue, I don't think the casual fan really understands how good of a player Ndamukong Suh is. So that's really going to hurt. And I fully expect, even though Aaron Donald probably will be a first-team All-Pro, barring injury, I don't see him getting 20 sacks again. That's not going to happen. The third thing I don't like is Todd Gurley's health. Bottom line, he didn't stay healthy in Georgia. He hasn't been able to stay healthy in the pros. I mean, let's face it, he wasn't healthy for the Super Bowl. I know it. You know it. He knows it. The Patriots know it. Bottom line, the Gurley is the best offensive player on the Rams. Make no doubt about that. But is he going to be healthy? Let me ask you this here. How many games do you think he's going to play? How many games would you bank on him playing? Me, I would say 12. I'm just throwing a number out there. I'd say you can almost count on him missing a month. And the reason why is that he's not been able to play a full 16. He just hasn't. I think he did his rookie year, and that's it. But the last 2 years, I think I know he missed 2 games, and then he came back for the playoffs. Wasn't the same guy. Non-factor against the Saints and the Patriots. So Gurley's health is an issue. If you tell me Gurley's going to play all 16 games and he's going to be the same Todd Gurley, this video is completely different. Bottom line, you can't count on Gurley's health. And that's the reason why you traded up to draft Henderson in the 3rd round. He's a guy I really like. That's why you have to re-sign Malcolm Brown. And when you focus on the running back position, there's other holes that you're not filling. Okay? Now, I like their draft. I'm not going to mention the draft. But bottom line, you traded up in the 3rd round to get a running back because you can't count on Gurley being healthy. That's a hole you could have used somewhere else. The final thing I don't like about the Rams is Super Bowl hangover. Ask the Falcons after there's now. Keep in mind, it's actually the next year they knocked the Rams out of the playoffs. But the following year, 2 years later, they were 7-19. It's not just that they lost, it was how they lost. Here's an offensive juggernaut that they held to 3 points. 3? I mean, here's the thing. You're going into the Super Bowl and you're Los Angeles Rams. What if somebody said, "Hey, guess what? You're going to hold the Patriots to 13 points." You're dancing in the streets. I think anybody who is part of the Rams organization or a Rams fan, if you had said, "Hey, you're holding the Patriots to 13 points in the Super Bowl," you're thinking to yourself, you just won the Super Bowl. You're going to Disney World or Disneyland or jumping in the lake or the ocean or partying. But you're going to win. But 3 points. Did New England show how to defend against McVay's offense? Was it a fluke? Was it just Gurley wasn't healthy? There's a lot of different things that go into this, but bottom line, you're an offensive juggernaut and you were held to 3 points. That's going to sting. That's going to be hard. Bottom line, can you get over it? Because look at the Atlanta Falcons. They didn't get over it. Okay? So kind of to recap the 4 things I really don't like. I don't like the offensive line issues. Okay? I just don't. There's no way that all 5 of these guys are going to stay healthy for 16 games. There's no way this offensive line is going to be as good as it was last year. Losing Sue, it's going to hurt. I mean, this is a Hall of Fame caliber player, whether you like him, whether you don't. He may not make the Hall of Fame, but he is a Hall of Fame caliber player. I think he's the 2nd best player on your defense last year, so losing him is going to hurt. You have Todd Gurley's health, and then the Super Bowl loss, not just losing the Super Bowl, but how you lost. Did Bill Belichick show the blueprint of how to defend against McVay's offense? It'll be very interesting to see how they handle it. So, hey, what I say, stick around to the very end where I break down the Vegas over-under. And if you should put action down on the Rams, the over-under is 10.5. Now, the over is plus 130. So if you think the Rams are going to win more than 10.5 games, if you wager 100, you'll win 130. If you take the under 10.5, it's currently negative 150. So if you have to wager $150 to win 100, and this has been dropping. People have been taking the under. That's why there's such a big disparity, is because people are betting the under. People like under 10.5. So this could actually drop to 10. Now, if it drops to 10, take 10. All right? 10.5 is tough, but I like over. I like the over because I like the plus 130. I like the idea of taking $100 and making 130. That means I walk out of the casino with 230. I like that versus wagering 150 to win 100. I mean, that's not a good number. Plus, when I broke down the Rams schedule first time, just real fast, just off the top of my head, I saw 11. That's the number I saw. I saw 11 wins. The Rams are going to regress. They're not going to win 13 games, okay? The question is, how much are they going to regress? I think they're going to be about 10, 11 wins. That's why 10.5, I would take the over because I like the plus 130. But if it drops to 10, take 10 and run to the bank because that's what I would do. I'm actually tempted to take over on 10.5 because I like plus 130. And like I said, my first instinct was 11 wins. This team's not going to be as good as they were last year. They're not going to win 13 games, but they went from 11 to 13. I could see them dropping back down to 11. That, to me, is logical. That makes sense. I don't see them dropping to 10 or 9 wins. 10's possible. That's why 10, I'm running instantly if I can get 10, and it could drop to 10. So, hey, listen, if you're a subscriber to Andrew's Football, you already know you're one of the greatest people on planet Earth. All your wildest dreams are going to come true, but if you're new to my channel, see this button right here? I blew it up for you. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Check out my playlist. I got some awesome stuff. Hey, Monday, I'm breaking down the Patriots, so I'll see you Monday.